Right,
how you going?
not bad. Good weather for a change in Norwich. Last day of summer.
Yeah, it's supposed to get like 20 today, isn't it?
20 degrees. Last day of skins. So session is 8 by 1200 off 60 seconds recovery. I'll probably jog the recovery, but it will be really slow. Like probably like 5.5 minute K pace, something like that. Aiming to hit 320 average for the 1200s. Maybe get down to 315, something like that. That's the target. No Jacob today. You might have seen in the previous videos, if you watch it, that he skipped a rep, he bottled it and everything, but he did do well on the weekend. We'll give him his dues. So most of the time he lives in Leeds and he's just down every now and again in Norwich to do some sessions because he's a musician, plays the piano, loves it. But he got a 10k PB on Sunday at the Leeds Abbey Dash, 31:40. He's absolutely stoked. Took 45 seconds off his previous PB, so he's on cloud 9 at the moment. So it's just me and Techno doing the session. The other guy, Danny, who was with us, is working, and then God knows where the others are, probably doing their own training. But yeah, so I've got Techno pacing me. The one thing we were talking about when Techno said to me before we left today was, oh, you know, you're on your own. But I said, I've got him pacing me, and that's awesome, because even if like he was to do this session with Jakob Ingebrigtsen, no one can run quicker than he can bike, so he can always be there, he can always pace you. And you've even done it for Mo Farah, haven't you?
Yeah.
You haven't you? We're not even making that up. He's literally paced Mo Farah on the 400 metre track in Font-Romeu with Bashir Abdi, podium athlete at the Olympic marathon, shouting out the splits every lap. Who else can say they've had that? What other athletes can say they've had the pleasure of Techno pacing them? Well, Mo Farah can.
Yeah, I'm more famous than him, I reckon.
And he even had his own tunes playing. We let him have that, didn't we? We let him play his own tunes. It was like, my dad loved it. It was like some kind of like typical kind of like Afro beats, weren't it? Like it was quite relaxing, wasn't it? It was like, you know, he was just relaxing for an 8 mile tempo or threshold. What was he doing? Like 305 K pace, wasn't he? 303s, something like that. So yeah, what would that be? 20 laps around the track. I think he actually did 4 extra, didn't he? Because he got in the groove, didn't he? Were you pacing him and he said, I'll do a couple extra. What I'm going to do for the recovery is I'm going to start each rep here. It's 1430 meters a lap. So I'll basically do the 1200 meters, and then I'm going to slow jog, and every time I get to here I'll start it at the same place, the reps. So the recovery could be slightly more than a minute, could be slightly, well, it won't really be slightly less because I get there before a minute. I'll just wait until a minute, so it will be either a minute or slightly more, like give or take 5-10 seconds, something like that. So that's my plan. Look at this, always does this, so annoying. Reset. I save the warm-up. Longest run 2.7 Ks, fastest K 4:27. If anyone knows how to get it so your Garmin doesn't keep resetting the records, please tell me, because it's so annoying that it does that. You know, I want to know if I've got a 5k training record, you know, or whatever, like, but not reset all the time. It's really annoying.
No, my Apple Watch does that sometimes.
Does your Apple Watch, does it?
Yeah.
Right. A little hack for the session here. He didn't look like he's got much in the tank, did he, that dog? Didn't you think when you saw him?
That's how I felt last night.
You must have thought, looking at him, thinking, bloody hell. I thought Alfie struggles sometimes on a walk, but I think Alfie's got more legs on him than him, hasn't he?
Yeah, a little bit.
Hip hop, techno, what do you reckon? What do you reckon?
My playlist.
Your playlist?
Yeah.
Ronan Keating?
No.
Dirty Swift. I'm just a bachelor.
You're not too keen on this, are you?
Not really. It's in my game, mate. I'm suffering now.
I'm suffering. You ready?
Yeah.
What are the main lessons do you think you've learned in the last 2 years?
Well, that's a good one. don't worry about what other people are doing. You see a lot of stuff online where so-and-so's done this hard session, someone else has done that, and it's very important to stick to your own process and believe in what you're doing, because it's very easy for someone to do a hero session one day and then not be consistent. And also, some people need more training to race at a good level, and some people need less to race at a good level, and they can't necessarily tolerate a higher training load or need a higher training load. So it's about finding what you need as an individual and making the most of it. So that's definitely a big one for me, is do what you know worked and what worked well in the past, and also be in the right place mentally, you know.
Bit quick, was it?
3:52, a bit too fast. It's about 3:15 pace, so I'll knock it down a bit. It's a good problem to have. It'd be bad if it was 3:25 pace. It's very important to be happy in what you do and enjoy it, and if you're enjoying it and you're happy in what you do, you're going to race a lot better. Like the last year, I've had some highs and lows. It's very hard to actually race at a good level when your head's not there. I think that's the most important thing. You need to be in the right place mentally to do good races. Otherwise, you just get to events and you're so tired and fatigued mentally that you can't push and you can't dig in. And in an Ironman or a half Ironman, that's 90% of it, is just being able to push and dig yourself a hole and in the race and just keep going. And yeah, you just can't do that if you're not there 100% mentally in the game. Hey, 1200's done. See what the scores were. 3:27 average, including the recovery, so very positive. 146 beats per minute, so actually a good sign of fitness. It's 11.3, 2 kilometers, 39.10. It's going to give me some random records now. Longest run. Decent session. Felt pretty good, an improvement on last week. 146 average, 161 at the end, which, as you can see, I pushed it a bit harder. That was definitely above threshold, 3:10k pace. But yeah, solid. Reckons VO2 max. But half the time it tells me I'm not training hard enough. Now it's telling me I'm training too hard. But as you can see, the heart rates weren't too bad. 37 average for the first rep, 44, 47, 48, 48, 51, 51, and then 52 at the end. Max heart rate is just under 180, 176. So for those that are interested, like 90% of max heart rate was the average towards the end of the session, and about 85 to 90 for the others. So decent. I think the recoveries were probably about 430 average in the end, which surprising because it felt like I was going really slow, but actually it's not that slow because I do some steady runs slower than that. But it's surprising when you're running at 3:15s, 4:30s feels a hell of a lot easier. But good session done. Going to head to the pool in a bit. We'll get a swim session done, and then later a second run, but a very easy one. Probably anywhere between 6 and 10k's depending on how I feel. And eventually this will progress to a double threshold day. But because it's so early in the winter, there's no hurry now. So my thinking and my planning is get used to time on feet, get a double run day in. Once that becomes quite easy and you're consistently getting 8 to 10k's of running on a Wednesday without it taking anything out of you, then I'll go on to the double threshold, which will probably be in about 6 weeks time, something like that. And the sessions will change a bit. Obviously the morning session won't be quite as intense as this. I'll do more of an LT1 based session. This was like LT2, and then the evening session will be more of an LT2 one, shorter reps, and that worked really well last year. So taking what I've learned from last year, what worked really well, and what I've done in the past, combining them, getting the best bits, and hopefully it will pay off. It's I've been like been volatile like Wall Street the last couple of years. More ups and downs than the Dow Jones, but the best time to buy is in a recession.
Just want to say, you came up with that quote yesterday.
I did come up with that quote yesterday. It came into my head. I don't know how, but that's the stuff I think about. Volatile like Wall Street, mate.
So with that in mind, what are you going to do differently going into 2025?
Well, I've learned a lot over the last couple of years, training-wise, for what works for me. So, double threshold days were really good, but if you want to do well in an Ironman, you need to do some longer runs as well. For a half Ironman, I don't think you necessarily need to. So I'll kind of use the double threshold days, which I did this year, and the longer runs to really get me in top shape for an Ironman, and I think that'll work really well. And just do a good build up like I did in the winter of 21 to 22, where I started training early because we knew that St George was going to be the World Championships, and I didn't rush into the training because I knew I had so long. I think I raced Chattanooga at the end of September or in October time, sometime around start of October, end of September, and then I got into proper training 2 to 3 weeks after that, so I had 6 months to build up for it. So I knew there was no point hurrying, rushing into the training too quickly, so I built up gradually. Started off with some really easy sessions, 2 by 15 minutes on the bike, under threshold, just tempo. And then by the end of the winter, I was doing 40-minute efforts at a higher power than what I was doing for the 15s at the start. And because I built up gradually, I found it so easy to recover from the training load. So by the time I got to February, March time, it just wasn't taking that much out of me. And I also think, although I got COVID before that, St George, I was in fantastic shape, and I really think that's what set me up really well for sub 7 and for the races at the end of 2022, where I won 2 Ironmans and finished 5th at the World Champs. So a nice gradual, long build up, nothing sexy at the start, just ticking the sessions off and gradually building really every 2 to 3 weeks.
If you could make a perfect triathlon, swim course, bike course, run course from any races, what would you do?
I'd say a downstream swim like Chattanooga would be perfect. Bike course, I like an undulating bike course, something where you have like some climbs that are like 3-4% gradient, so they don't suit really light people, but you can make a difference and drop people if you want. You know, if you're feeling really good, the kind of climb that you could ride up at, like, say, 32 k's an hour, 30 k's an hour in the TT bars, that kind of thing. The scenery of Switzerland course would be great. The course there's absolutely fantastic, especially the scenery. And then the run course, I would say normally I've done better on flatter courses, but Wales was my best ever run. And a course like that really is good because if people are fading or they're blowing up, you just can't blag the hills and the relentlessness of that course. So I would say an undulating bike, downstream swim, and a run like the Ironman Wales course, where it's just up and down, incredible support through the town and out 4 laps. That would be perfect. Definitely a 1 lap bike for the course for the bike, ideally.
How does it feel seeing all your competitors going off to Kona and you not being able to make the start list?
To be honest, not that bad, to be honest. I'm quite looking forward to watching the race and seeing how it plays out and being on the other side for a change. Like last time I remember not being there was 2017, and it was really inspiring to be back there for 2018. So I'm just looking forward to seeing how the race plans out and really motivated to get back there for the next time and get into some of these bigger races and being a part of it. So I'm just really looking forward to watching it and being there. And I always find with Kona, there's so much excitement leading up to the race. Like, you don't get that with any other race. I mean, you've only got to look at the start list and the who's who of Ironman are there. The media buzz around it is there. The T100 doesn't have the buzz from weeks out like a Kona. Don't get me wrong, the fields are strong in them races and there is a buzz from a few days out, but not like Kona. Kona's different and everyone's talking about it. Even now, you got Lionel Sanders doing his daily vlogs, building up the hype. He's getting 70k views a video, maybe more. No one else in the sport is getting that kind of exposure for a race. So yeah, I'm very motivated for next year and looking forward to watching it and seeing how some of the guys I've raced against before do. And yeah, I'll be watching the whole thing. There we go, 8 kilometres. Wednesday evening run done. It's 24 for the day, so I'll take that. Got the dogs getting there a bit fit. It was like a couple of 3k without them, just under 5 with them.
Get me a bit fit as well.
Yeah, I thought you were going to be flying, mate. I thought you were going to be setting the pace.
Hell no.
What happened to you?
Any hills, I'm done.
So yeah, double threshold, well not double threshold, one threshold in the morning, easy one in the evening. It will be a double threshold in about 2 months' time. But hopefully answered some of your questions. Hopefully Tyler got some good footage on that run. I won't know. Well, I guess you'll have seen it before I said that anyway. Right guys, that's the end of the video. Hopefully my dogs won't terrorise any more people. I can see they're getting ready to go. So on that note, I'll leave you there. And let me know in the comments below who your top 3 picks are for Kona. Will Lionel Sanders finally win it after 10 years of trying? Let me know. Be good to see. I'd love to see him do it. Who else will be on the podium? Will Blumenfeld win? Done everything else, hasn't won Kona. Will Laidlow step up from his second? So many questions, and we'll find the answer very shortly in about a week's time. One thing I do want to say is good luck to Kieran Linders and David McNamee, the 2 British athletes racing in Kona. Hope you boys smash it. McNamee's been on the podium a couple of times. Kieran was second at Frankfurt, which was a stacked field, pretty much like a World Champs field. So boys, hope you can do it. Would love to see you on the podium. Would love to see one of you win it. I've got my fingers crossed for you and I'll be cheering from you from back from Norwich. And for you guys following, all the Brits, let's get behind them and hopefully see them get on the podium. Good luck, lads.